It's got a microphone, it's got a speaker, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got color e-ink, it's Android 14, and it sticks on the side of your fridge. It's absurd, I know, but kind of awesome. I can listen to podcasts whilst I'm doing the dishes. Hello everybody, I'm going to be showing you this new gizmo of mine and tool for toys. I'm very much into e-ink tablets at the moment. E-ink e-readers and note takers, but for this one it's specifically an e-ink e-reader because it doesn't have a stylus. I've got plenty of other ones with styli, but not this one. So color e-ink is a thing these days. I got it a few weeks ago, an early bird offer. There's something from Bigme. I've been researching Bigme for quite some time. Don't tell the wife. I got this as an early bird special offer thing for $135 US, which is a bit of a bargain. And I wanted it as an upgrade to what I had, or what I do have. This is from the very well established Books company. E-ink, Android, it's got Google Play Store in there. You can install, it's not just Kindle. It does have Kindle on here. You can use it for all sorts of things. What do I have here? It's got eink on it, so you can do your language learning. You can read comics on it. It's, you know, you can do anything that you would on an Android tablet, almost, apart from it being a bit slow. But the whole thing is, it's e-ink display. It's easier on your eyes than OLED, but it's a bit underpowered. And this is an upgrade to that. So this snaps on magnetically. It says leather on this website, but it's not, it's just pleather. So it's soft on the inside and is more plasticky on the outside, but it's still soft to the touch. Onto the back. Very neat package there, so it doesn't flap around loosely. And both open and close, there's a nice, satisfying snap to it. It's quite secure, right? So it holds it on very firmly. So that's the case. The design is very solid. It's fairly substantial. There's no real flex in it, and it's just a one monocoque body. It's plastic. It's a matte black finish, this one. You can get them in white and green. And in fact, if you order now, I think for the white body and the green bodied ones, they're offering the early bird, you know, the same price that I paid for this, which is $135. Or is it $140 US? If you look around, there'll be like $5 coupons on the internet. So you get a further $5 off. It's angular. Right? It doesn't hurt the hands, but you can. There's a nice grip to it. It's fine. It isn't quite as nice as the finish on the Books, because this has like some chamfers on it, and then it has a sunken screen, which makes it feel thinner than it actually is. But they're comparable. My one, I've got a little protective sticker, which is about 0.5 millimeter thick as well on there. But this is incredibly light. This is only like 135 grams, which is why I love it. And this one's heavier at 180 grams. So it's a bit more, it feels it, you can feel it. I wish it was lighter, but it does feel more substantial. And where does the extra weight come from? It has a 2,100 milliamp hour battery with the Bigme, and this one only has 1,500. So maybe that's where the weight comes from. Also, this has a very expansive glass flat flush front to it. Other differences I found was that the backlights are at the bottom here, shining, and you can see like there's some bright spots there, but only if you hold it at an angle like this. If you hold it flat, you won't notice, which is okay. Is that the same on my Books as well? Yeah, a little bit. But well, yeah. Bonuses. Features that this has that the Books doesn't. The Bigme wins for having has a built-in speaker at the top of this one. I need Bluetooth headphones or a Bluetooth speaker to get sound out of this one. But if you're using it purely as an e-reader, you don't really need the speaker, do you? Yeah, this one has expandable storage. It's up to 1 terabyte on a micro SD card. I don't have that on here. This one is only 2 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of onboard storage, not expandable. This one has 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of onboard storage, even before you add your own SD card if you so wished. This one has front lighting that includes warm LEDs. Alright, so I can look at that, how orange that can be. Well, and it has the normal white bluish light as well, or you have a combination of both to balance it out. It's up to you. For the books, I only have the white, or it says here cold light, so it's slightly bluish. But if I whack it up to the top, this Boox actually it feels a bit brighter than the Bigme, but it's alright. This is the original Kaleido, which is only 100 dots per inch, the colour. So the black and white resolution is 300 dots per inch, but colour is 100. And on the Bigme, we have the same 300 dots per inch for black and white, but 150 dots per inch colour. Let's see, I'll turn off the screens. So this is what it's like without the front light. The white is slightly grey on the Bigme, and on the Boox it's a slightly greenish hue to it, but it doesn't really bother me too much. But what does bother me is stuff like this. So I've transferred using a thumb drive. They're both USB-C. It's very convenient. You use the thumb drive and you transfer your comics and your books over into it. The onboard reader, I have, let's see, I'll put it in a directory, manga. You're loading up. So here, what I'm finding is that the higher resolution color filter, 150 versus 100, it produces some, let me zoom in. On the Boox, you can see that the grey is fine, but here, look at those rainbow banding. So in manga, they have these black and white patterns that are a fixed pattern which is repeating, and that's interfering with it's causing moire effects. And I can't get rid of it on the Bigme, which is probably my biggest disappointment about this. I mean, otherwise, it's very nice. For the Boox, occasionally I do get the rainbow effects on it, and here in the built-in Neo reader application, there are things to counteract rainbows. Here we go. It says image smoothing option. So by blurring the image slightly, the black and white image, you can get rid of. But with this particular piece of material, I don't even have rainbows to begin with. I don't have such features, such rainbow countermeasures with the built-in X-Reader Pro. That's a funny thing as well, you know. Why do Bigme? Let's open something else here. It's asking me, do I want to open it with X-Reader or X-Reader Pro? Why are you asking me? If X-Reader Pro is better, just get rid of X-Reader. I don't understand that. In terms of software, yeah, I would say Boox is better than Bigme. The native reader app, reading manga and reading books, all the features they're very mature here, but on the X-Reader occasionally it will jump out when I'm doing double pages. It will suddenly crash, but it's much more stable than the Boox. So there's that. The various pieces of user interface guff. So you actually have to touch the tiny little Bluetooth icon. Don't touch that Bluetooth word. That's not one button. You'll go into the settings. The same with the Wi-Fi. So you just tap that tiny bit there. And you see those blue accents, they disappeared now. So that means it's off. It's much more obvious here that when the Bluetooth is off and on versus that. So there's all sorts of... Bigme. When you first get this, you're asked what language do you want? And of course you choose English, but there's all sorts of little bits of Chinese left in there. For example, you'll notice that after a fresh factory reset, even though you said it's English, there's going to be bits of Chinese all over the place. I'm plugged in a USB thumb drive, and right, I'm trying to eject it. I want to eject it. I hope I'm not going to format it by mistake. Okay, so I've got a choice. I know from memory, I think the left one would be explore, and that looks like the characters I see for an exit. Chinese. So I can ejected, I think. Well, the USB thing's gone anyway. And you're thinking, what is going on? But I can tell you that if you just reboot a few times, then everything becomes English again. But when you first get it, it's not a very good user experience. They can do better. So one of the major features of the Bigme is that it has this row of capacitive touch buttons at the bottom. There's no such thing on the Books. In fact, this is a rarity on any e-ink tablet, I think. You can program these. Now I have the 1.7 firmware update, which was just arriving yesterday. You have the library, and pressing that would open the native bookshelf application and their X reader. AI, which would open up the Bigme AI GPT thing, which doesn't interest me. So that's you want to remap them, don't you? Or even file manager is using their file manager, which is ever so slightly janky. The other ones I'm not too fussed about. This is an apps shortcut, and this is the settings shortcut. Okay, touch. Did I disable that as well? Yes, I did. So I didn't really like these buttons because it's very easy, they're touch capacitive, so it's very easy to touch them by mistake, and then you'll go, ooh, suddenly open up the bookshelf when all I was doing was readjusting my grip of the tablet, or suddenly open up AI when I don't want it to. So I pretty much remapped them all to something else. So I even got rid of the settings one, because you can just reach the settings by sweeping down and pressing the gear cog there. You can still reach it. So what did I do to kind of disable it? You can't totally disable it. So what I did was you go to Key Custom, and yeah, you can make them navigation buttons instead. So you can make them a home button, or make it into a back button. Full e-ink refresh, I made the AI. So when you press that, the screen will give a bit of a flash, and then if there's any ghosting, because it's e-ink, you should be able to get rid of it with a tap. I've got Solid Explorer there. I can map it to that so that when I press that, it doesn't open in the native file manager and opens up whatever I want. So that is a very good update that they provided in the 1.7, which just arrived yesterday. So yeah, I was thinking that, the battery in the Bigme is much bigger than it is in the Books. But does it last that much longer? No, it doesn't, to be honest. It doesn't. So in the latest update, they provided you with an option to shift from performance mode, or you can power it down a bit with the power savings mode. So hopefully that will save you a bit of juice. But of course, if you want to save power, you should turn off the Wi-Fi when you're not using it, and the Bluetooth, and maybe dim down the front light. I try to use it without the front light as much as possible. If it's during the daytime, or I have lots of ambient light, I switch off the front light. If you can manage without it. Probably the biggest difference, the biggest win of getting the Bigme versus the old Poke 2 color, The best thing is that it's a lot snappier in terms of overall, because there's, you have double the memory. This one, it moves a lot quicker. There's less ghosting. So if I... Oh, we have a bit of a race, shall we? Anki droid. There's no sound there. Benefits of having a speaker. So if I move on... What's that? Gar? Can't hear anything. What's that? Gee? Oh, it's Zah. But you can see here already. Look at the ghosting on that. Can you see that? I don't know whether you can, but you can see the previous screen. The characters there in the... It's left over. See the keyboard. A lot cleaner on the Bigme. Though, of course, it's like several generations removed in terms of the colour technology of e-ink that we have here. I tried to do a benchmark, a geek bench. Well, it couldn't even finish on the Books because it's only got 2 gig of RAM. It just couldn't manage it. I think this finished around 30%, and by the time it reached like 28%, the Bigme had already finished the benchmark. So it's way faster than the old Books. But the Books still have a place in my heart for being so lightweight, and it still does the job. If you're reading, it's perfectly fine. The screen, if you set it so that it does a full e-ink refresh with every page turn, it looks perfect. You're not bothered by the ghosting. But for other things like if you're browsing the web, in terms of scrolling, even though you don't really want to scroll too much, I recommend the Ink Brow browser, which is specially catered for e-ink usage. How long does it take you to load this up? Can you see that? I've already pressed it and it's takes a bit longer to load up. So this is what it looks like scrolling. That's e-ink for you. And scrolling here, it's smoother. Because it's just got more processing power. If I want to do a refresh, come on, refresh, flash. E-ink refresh, flash. I'm warming to these buttons actually, but as long as you're aware of them, some and people I know they'll turn it upside down. Oh, that's another thing. So this has a G sensor, and it can detect the orientation and flip as you wish. But is that really useful? It's not really useful. I've not really felt the need for it when I was using the Books. So another bonus of the Bigme is that it's running Android 14, which is much newer than the Android 9 of the Books. And they also opened up, even though that it's just running on a 6-inch e-ink display, they gave a split screen. So let me show you Anki Droid again. And if we pull down the menu, there is an option for split screen. Start the split screen, and we can open up another application. But sadly, a lot of the applications just don't work. And I've gone and enabled the allow resizing of applications or something in the developer settings. But yeah, what's the point of split screen if largely... Oh, here we go. I think we hit on an app that supported it. WPS Office. So that works. What's that key? Oh, Zar again. I really need to learn that. So, yeah, split screen is there. You can't have anything other than half screen, right? You may think, oh, look, I can resize the windows. Maybe I'll have like 3/4. No, right? Half is all you have. If you widen it, it means that it's going to have one of the applications taking over. But yeah, the biggest thing is the newer color screen technology and the general processing. A lot more RAM, a lot more onboard storage. It's much quicker. Expandable storage. It's got a speaker. I think this wins out, really. And this one's discontinued anyway. This is quite a collector's edition, this. It's been a huge gap between when this was released and when it was discontinued, and when the next proper Android tablet where you could have the Play Store onto it and install your own apps. It's been ages, years. It's like 4 years between these two devices. So it's not surprising that the Bigme wins out. I still like that it's very light. Anyway, if you want to ask a question, feel free. Let us on a postcard. Bye! So, color e-ink, we want to see some color material. So I've got Kindle lined up here, both on the Boox and the Bigme. This is in the zoomed in mode. And if I give it a sweep, you saw here that there's no animation happening on the Boox because I've set it so that it ignores some of the animation for, I don't know, a second. You can make it 1 second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds to try and skip the animation because it's not that great for e-ink. I don't know if you can see the ghosting that's happening here in comparison to what we have on the Boox because it does a quick refresh. And again, zoom in there. You didn't see any zoom in on the Boox. Again. But there's ghosting on the Bigme. Let's see if I can change some of the settings on the Bigme. So maybe, oh, it's refreshing. It's doing a full refresh. Let's do it to custom. Did you see the flash when it stops? Yeah, I see a flash of ghosting. It's more severe, and then it kind of fades away a little bit. It's almost like BSR is doing some kind of anti-ghosting. So there you go. I really don't mind the color on the Boox. I think it's okay. Sorry, if we look on the Bigme, some people are saying that they don't like, or even on the Boox, on the newer Boox, they don't like it being, they see grain. And actually on the Boox, I don't have that grain. Maybe because the color filter is not so dense. Like there's more tiny little dots on top of the e-ink layer. Here you go. Yeah, you can see the grain there. So this is in the default mode. We swap that over to magazine mode. The grain is gone. So if you do see grain and you find it objectionable, just mess around with the e-ink center. And depending on what mode you are in, the colors will look different back on default. So if you have a Poke 2, don't get rid of it. I think it's okay. It's punching above its weight, honestly. I think it's doing well after all these years. Ahead of its time.